Salam alaikum, everyone. Jazakallah khair for joining. We are so excited to have you all. The time is 6:35 and we are starting on time, inshallah. I would like to welcome everyone to the Muslim Women Organization's virtual fundraiser. And we do have Ain't Afraid in the building. So please take a moment to welcome them in the chat. You just heard from them. I will be introducing the very honorable, the very beautiful, the very articulate and humble bumblebee, our MC for the evening, Sabrina Rahimi. Welcome.
Alaikum. Thank you, Rasha. Sisterhood is many wonderful things. It is a warm smile on a cold and rainy day, a friendly hug, a cheerful hello. It's treasured. It's sacred. More than ever in these uncertain times, it's knowing that there will always be someone there for you. It's dreams shared and goals achieved. It's counting on others and being counted on. Sisterhood is real. Sisterhood is here, and it is us. Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. My name is Sabrina Rahimi, and I am honored and humbled to be your host and MC this evening. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We are very pleased to be able to welcome those of you that have been with us for a long time now, as well as those of us who are new to the Muslim Women's Organization. We know it's a difficult time for many of us. We just lost Justice Ruth Ginsburg, who was an inspiration to many women. And I also want to make sure we take an opportunity to acknowledge people in our very own community, in this very space that we're sharing today, who have lost loved ones. That's why it means so much that you are joining us today. Today marks our first virtual fundraising event, The Power of Sisterhood and the Journey to Leadership, and we are proud to be able to host it today with all of you. Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you who have generously helped us make this event come together to become a success. We couldn't have done it without you. In today's event, we would like to focus on taking you all together on a journey of sisterhood and leadership, a journey of the Muslim Women's Organization. Before I move on, I would like to introduce Rahab Basha from the MWO's Convert Care Committee, who will start us off with the Quran recitation.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والمؤمنون والمؤمنات بعضهم أولياء بعض يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر ويقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة ويطيعون الله ورسوله أولئك سيرحمهم الله إن الله عزيز حكيم وعد الله المؤمنين والمؤمنات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها ومساكين طيبة في جنات عدن ورضوان من الله أكبر ذلك هو الفوز العظيم صدق الله العظيم. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. The true believers, both men and women, are protectors of one another. They enjoin what is good and forbid what is evil. They establish salah, pay zakah, and obey Allah and His Rasul. It is they on whom Allah will have His mercy. Surely Allah is mighty wise. Allah has promised the believers, both men and women, gardens beneath which rivers flow, to live therein forever, and they will have beautiful mansions in these gardens of everlasting bliss. Best of all, they will have the good pleasure of Allah. Now that is the highest achievement. Sadaqallahul Azim.
Jazakallah khair, Hub. That was very calming and soothing. I'm so glad we started with that. You all have chosen to be a part of our organization due to a mutual passion, where every Muslim woman has the opportunity to lead in the service of humanity. Your passions help us all to unite, and the energy that we create together is what allows us to achieve our collective goals. This evening, we'll be joined by several members of our leadership team, as well as our keynote speaker, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, and a very special performance, which you got a sneak peek on the audio by Ain't Afraid. Even though this event is dedicated to sisterhood, I would like to acknowledge the men in this room. We have had many who have joined us along in our journey of supporters, of donors, of members, of family members, of community allies, and without their support, our goals would not become a reality. So I do want to make sure we acknowledge their presence. What is sisterhood? When we talk about sisterhood, I was reflecting back upon just this year and some of the things that have taken place. Sisterhood is pivoting together in these uncertain times of moving all of our programs and still staying connected in a virtual space, whether it be having somebody join our organization from the community who is now leading one of our committees. We've had spaces where we've created at the onset of our pandemic where we just hang out and talk. We've had several projects and initiatives that have continued to go on, and we're excited to be able to share those stories with you today. Just briefly, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and my journey with sisterhood with the MWO. As coming out of a college student and finding a place in the community, you come out having been part of the MSA and finding a place and knowing that the MWO existed. And we're going to hear a little bit about the journey of MWO itself. But I still remember I had a conversation with several members who I'm still very close to, some of my mentors in the organization. And I said, I don't know what to do. And one of our founding members said, just show up, Sabrina. That's all. Just show up. And I showed up to an iftar event several years ago, and I found a sense of peace and a sense of comfort. And I know that it's not just my journey, but many other women who have been a part of our organization who feel the same way, who found sisters who have joined together, whether it's reading books together and laughing in a coffee shop and now at our hub, or coming together for causes that we are very passionate about. Everyone has their own journey, and we have all found a place and that unites us with sisterhood in this organization. Now, I know you're all anxiously awaiting to begin our journey. With that, I would love to introduce our president, Sophia Ansari.
Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to the Power of Sisterhood, the Journey to Leadership. These are strange and uncertain times, and we really appreciate you joining us this evening in support of the work of the Muslim Women's Organization. Before we get started, I wanted to introduce our team and our board. We have our Executive Director, Sadaf Saeed, our Hakima and Chaplain, Amani Shalabi, and thanks to a grant from the Movement Voter Project, Seema Azam, Zaina Sheikh, and Ziva Sheikh, who are leading our Muslim Women Vote Early campaign. On our board, we have Vice President Rasha Mubarak, Treasurer Madiha Ahmed, Secretary Ambreen Javed, and board members at large, Samina Rahman, Rashida Muhammad, and Tina Yunus. We have an inspiring evening planned for you all tonight. We're going to be hearing from Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib about her journey to leadership and the role that sisterhood played in that journey. And we have a dynamic performance by Ain't Afraid, which I'm super excited about. Our theme this evening is sisterhood and leadership. So as we get started, I wanted to talk to you all a little bit about the leaders in MWO. Many of you all know the board and the team through a lens of what they do in the organization. But I wanted to take a few minutes to share with you a little bit more about what these amazing about these amazing women and the depth of their leadership and multifaceted talents. We have women who own and operate small businesses, women who advocate for those whose voices are not heard. We have women who shape the minds of future generations in the classroom. We also have women who shape the minds of future generations in the home, raising strong, vocal, and independent boys and girls. We have spiritual advisors providing support to women in crisis. We have healthcare workers and essential workers. We have leaders by nearly every definition. Their journeys to leadership are all unique, as are yours. Even if you don't consider yourself a leader, I'm willing to bet by the end of this event, you will realize that in fact, you truly are. Before we move forward, I wanted to share with you all a little bit about my personal leadership story. It started at Emory University when I attended my first Muslim Students Association meeting. As a freshman in a new city, I was excited to see what college was about and get involved. My first MSA meeting was great. Everyone was super nice and welcoming and helpful. But when I looked at the MSA board, I noticed it was all men, not at all representational of the organization. As I got more and more involved, I decided to help change that, and I ran for office. I became secretary and ultimately the vice president for the first female MSA president at Emory. We knew that the performance of our organization under female leadership was very important and would have a lasting impact on the sisters that came after us and how they viewed their leadership roles in the organization. That knowledge and sense of responsibility really drove us to push our team to be the best it could be. That year, we won a number of awards as an organization, including Organization of the Year. I was very proud to have been a part of that history at Emory. I've always been more comfortable in supporting roles, but a few years ago, I had the opportunity to take on a more prominent leadership role at the MWO. With the support and encouragement of my sisters, I took on the presidency. Now, the MWO doesn't have a hierarchical board, but that title of president was very daunting to me. It was not a role I was entirely comfortable with, but it didn't matter. I broke out of my comfort zone, largely because of the encouragement of my sisters. But the support of my sisters in MWO didn't end when I stepped into the role. It's been a constant support that I've received from the team in all that I do, both within the organization and outside of it in my daily life. That support, that tribe of women that have my back, is what motivates me to continue my leadership journey. The beauty of MWO is that although what I shared with you was just my story, I'm certain that there are many more similar stories that can be shared by the other women in the organization about their journeys to leadership. MWO, as an organization, not only illustrates, but also highlights the success of women in leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. That was beautiful, and we're so grateful for your leadership. We're going to continue with our journey, and we're going to talk about the journey of the Muslim Women's Organization. And with that, I'd like to introduce Sada Saeed, our MWO Executive Director.
Thank you, Sabrina. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. In the words of Maya Angelou, every journey begins with a single step. The Muslim Women's Organization's journey began almost 10 years ago when a group of around 20 women gathered and decided to take that step. At that time, we just knew we needed something more in our lives, an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of others. But I don't think anyone could have predicted where it would lead or the people we would meet along the way. We started as the new kids on the block, and over the last decade, we've been able to find our place in the fabric of the Central Florida community. It has always been important for us as an organization to respect and acknowledge those who paved the way for us, the inspirational leaders who have supported us on our journeys, and many of you are here today. Actually, I see a lot of the names of our partners in this room, and you know who you are, and if I started mentioning every single one of you, we'd be here all night. So I am so grateful that you're here, and we really truly have appreciated your support through the years. Did you know that we began MWO with an act of sisterhood? The very first thing that we ever did was participate in a breast cancer walk in October of 2010, almost exactly 10 years ago. We walked in support of one of our dear friends, and it became the very first tradition of many in our sisterhood. How many of you have walked with us through the years? I know I see a lot of faces that have been there dressed in pink, walking side by side. And after that walk, we spent our whole year, that whole first year, really building that tribe of women. We coordinated a Ramadan kids camp, we held our first Eid picnic, and then by our second year, we were ready to serve and help those in need. And we launched a lot of the programs that you all have grown to love. We launched care packages, the Muslim Women's Interfaith Iftar, the Eid gift drive, and even Hope in a Basket. We were really busy that first year. And every single year, we would set goals for ourselves, and every single year, alhamdulillah, by the grace of God, we surpassed every single goal. We could not have done that without you, our supporters, our volunteers, our partners, our donors, our members. Because of you all, we went from helping 100 families that first year to helping over 1,000 in years afterwards. And it all started with one single idea, one step in that direction. And through the years, I've witnessed time and time again the impact of women when they have a vision, when they come together with sincere intentions, give wholeheartedly of their time, and share their resources. As we grew as an organization, we found that women would come to us in distress when they didn't know where else to go. Even if we couldn't help them, since we really aren't a social service provider, we knew where to send them to get help. And then we started having some really meaningful conversations as an organization about the path we wanted to go down, about our role in the community and the responsibility that we had to create change. Our vision has been a world in which every Muslim woman has the opportunity to lead in the service of humanity. And we knew that we could not achieve this vision if we did not address the challenges Muslim women were facing. And we also understood that if we didn't fight for gender justice, nobody was going to do that for us. It sounds like a lofty goal, gender justice, but we believe that if we, one, provide training to tackle some of our biggest obstacles. 2, increase awareness about the issues that are affecting Muslim women. 3, build a support network and sisterhood. Then the Muslim women of Central Florida will be more empowered and have greater gender equity. So in 2018, we launched our Gender Equity Initiative, and we got to work. We started to find out, what do Muslim women really need in our community? And after that, we started creating task forces to start addressing those needs. And those task forces have been working throughout this pandemic to really make sure that women who are in their homes feeling alone know that they are not alone, that we have a chaplain here, that we will help them with safety planning, that we will help them with their health needs. So we have been there for them, and it has been amazing. One of the things that we really started dreaming of early on was a place for us, a place to find belonging, sisterhood, strength. And as Muslim women living in a time of Islamophobia, those spaces are few and far between. Our needs haven't always been met by the institutions who really don't share our lived experiences. So in 2015, we started planning some more. And we wanted to have our very own resource center. So we raised money, we spread our vision, we developed our programs, and in 2019, a year ahead of schedule, because of our community's generosity, because of you, we were able to open our doors to this beautiful hub. With it, we started down our next part of our journey. I'm now the executive director, I'm a paid staff member, we have other paid staff members, and this organization that I love is doing some amazing things. We have a space for our Hakima to provide support. We have a space for our team members to meet and plan projects. We have a space to really receive some training and make a difference. Our community members can come and learn, and also women can just gather in our family room and have a cup of tea while they're talking about a really good book. So we've come a really long way in the past 10 years. 10 years ago, when we voted in our first board, those 7 people, we didn't know that we would be here, that there would be 30 women volunteers in committees, in running programs as chairwomen. And that first year, we didn't know we would have all of these different programs and be able to make this difference. And you have been a really important part of that journey. Like Sophie said, that is the beauty of MWO. And we need all of you because we have a whole lot still to accomplish. And if you haven't seen what MWO's work looks like, you will be blown away. Check out our social media. Go on Facebook and just look at our albums. And MWO isn't just about care packages anymore or just about Hope in a Basket. There are so many other opportunities for women to lead today. We have boss women, we have social justice and advocacy, we have women's health, violence against women, we have leaders in training, convert care, our Hakima program, we have book club, we have real talk discussions, and so much more. We cannot know with certainty what the next decade will bring. We honestly can't even know what the next month is going to bring, especially when we are living in this pandemic that seems to just have no end. But we are very hopeful because we are a sisterhood of competent and hardworking women striving every single day to create the change we wish to see in the world, one step at a time. With you, your support will continue to help make our dreams come true. Thank you all so much for being here today.
Thank you, Salah, for continuing us on this journey that I said we would be going on today together. I would like to move on along in our journey and introduce Zaina Sheikh. She is MWO's Muslim Women Vote Early digital organizer. She is also the creative behind today's beautiful art and the artwork you have been seeing for our Muslim Women Vote Early campaign. So without further ado, Zaina.
Thank you, Sabrina. Assalamu alaikum. I'm so grateful to be with you all tonight. Moreover, to be representing MWO as the Muslim Women Vote Early campaign's digital organizer. So we all know that Muslim women are a dynamic group and we're made up of women from a range of identities. So by engaging in our communities through civic processes, we have the power to reflect positive change for everybody. MWO's Muslim Women Vote Early campaign is geared up now until Election Day. MWVE aims to mobilize Muslim women to lead and engage in their communities through civic processes such as voting. MWVE will also engage non-voting community members in learning about civic issues relevant to Muslims today and how we can unify our voices to bring attention to policies affecting us as Muslim women in Florida and in the United States at large. Muslim women have historically been leaders, and we are continuing to lead by highlighting the voices of our community and ensuring that they are heard through their right to vote. Check out this MWVE video produced by Zainab Ibrahim and efforts led by Sima Azim.
Who believes in women's rights. I can't vote in the primaries, but I'm excited to vote in the general. I'm voting for racial equality. So I think that voting is important because whatever we vote for impacts the lives of our friends, our families, and our communities. Come out and vote and exercise your right.
I just voted early for economic, racial justice, equality, equity, human rights, inclusive of Palestinian rights, and for women, equity, equality, reproductive rights, for consistency, for progressive values, for not allowing one person behind. I voted early, y'all.
Muslim women vote early. Muslim women vote early. Muslim women vote early. Muslim women vote early.
Muslim women vote early.
Thank you so much, Zaina, and for that wonderful illustration of just a glimpse of some of the projects that we have going on. As a quick plug-in, make sure you're registered and make sure you go vote because you'll be seeing more of that for our campaign for voting early. And I'd like to now introduce Rasha Mubarak, who's been helping us through our event today and has helped us. So we're excited, and I'm excited for her to be joining us now in the program. She's our MWO Vice President.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you all. Jazakallah khair for being with us. What a world that we are living in, subhanallah. I mean, who would have thought that we are living 6 months deep in a global pandemic where we cannot leave the house without wearing masks, and how we have to live responsibly and safely. and something that Islam warns us and teaches us how to be responsible in times like this, and also be able to give back to the community in a responsible way. So that's what sets us unique here at the Muslim Women's Organization. I mean, you've heard from the leadership team, you've heard from so many people, and that what's always been so unique and easy to talk about with the Muslim Women's Organization is the fact that we have been doing this work before this global pandemic. So when the global pandemic, while no one was prepared, we did have our programs in place to be able to give back in the ways that many organizations do not. When we talk about the Muslim Women's Organization, we talk about the spiritual guidance that we have with Sister Amani. We talk about the Social Justice and Advocacy Committee, where anti-Blackness is something that we make sure that to dismantle and work towards. We talk about survivors of domestic violence and provide resources. So this is an organization that when the global pandemic hit, we understand that the inequities that disproportionately impacts the Black and Brown communities, inclusive of Muslims, were to be hit hard. So survivors of domestic violence became even more fearful and became more unsafe in their conditions. People with mental health were challenged with even more problems in their lives. So we had programs that were already in place that were ready to provide. So I just want to give a huge shout out to our executive director, Sadaf, who was working through pandemic where we had to contact her family to make sure that they were hiding her devices. And this is someone that works so hard to be able to give back to each and every one of you and your families and to our allies. So I just want to quickly go over why it's important to donate. We do understand, and we want to make sure that we are compassionate in how we ask, but we understand that not everyone is able to give today, but we're asking that if you are able to give like it hurts, because so many people are hurting in this country and really around the world. And for us to be able to sustain these important programs, we have to be able to invest in organizations like the Muslim Women's Organization. Sometimes it's easier, especially in our communities, when we want to be able to feed the hunger or be able to give to orphan children. But there's also organizations like the Muslim Women's Organization that help provide the resources and necessities that families need before they get there or when they're going through it. And then of course, once they're in it. So we are preventative, we are there when it's happening. And of course, we're there to help pave the way to ensure that we are protecting the journeys of Muslim women. We are amplifying their dreams and how to get there through their leadership trainings. Zana is a great example. She was a person that went through the LIT program and is now a paid staff member at the Muslim Women's Organization, just starting college. So imagine freshman year of college, and she has the ability to start freshman year going through a leadership training and a paid position. That's amazing, mashallah, and we want to be able to provide that for so many young people in our community. So just bear with me. I do want to share some important, beautiful art graphics that were created by our executive director, who was able to research how the Muslim Women Organization is functioning and why it's so important that we give today. All right, so this is a beautiful, I love this because we're able to see where the Muslim Women Organization has invested in. So we have a lot of collaborations and partners just within the year that some of them we've been in relationship for a very long time, and some are new. Some are on this call. So we have, as you can see, I'm not going to go through all of them, but a lot of organizations. And what we were able to do alongside the partnership organizations, and many of them, what the Muslim Women Organization led, is over 125 women were able to get trained through our programs, through our leadership advancing programs. We had 5 online resources created. We've assisted over 1,000 families. And when we were meeting back in the day, when we were meeting in person, we've had 250 people attend. And now, before COVID and now, a total of over 20 virtual events. So really, We've had over 6,000 people tune in. This is something that, you know, you heard the history, you heard the purpose and the love behind the Muslim Women Organization, and you see where it's at now. I would like to share this graphic now. So we talked a lot about sisterhood, we talked about the journey, and we talked about the leadership. So some of the initiatives you've heard are, of course, the violence against women, health, also spiritual guidance, but there's also Boss Women. Boss Women is absolutely amazing. One of our board members, Rashida Hamid, is helping lead that, and it's being able to imagine having a dream, and you just need to be amplified with some skill trainings that we're able to provide. The Social Justice and Advocacy Committee, subhanAllah, was produced before George Floyd's brutal murder. And so we were able to talk about anti-Blackness and all of that before it was trending, and teach young people, teach people that are leading institutions, the anti-Blackness that exists within our own community, but also just about health and how there's disproportionate inequities during COVID-19, and how Muslim women are impacted, or sometimes specifically how Black women are more impacted. So these are all issues that we have recommitted ourselves to. So this is a breakdown. I mean, y'all, we have a goal of until the end of the year for $20,000. I mean, so we're not asking for much. We're asking to help sustain these programs in order to be able to continue to serve you. So you can see the numbers. The programs I just mentioned are about $15,000, and the other trainings that we do are broken down there. So we also, something that Sadaf did a great job is making sure that the people that are running these programs, and our board chair people, our staff, and even our board members are also trained. So it's making sure that you can never get too much education in how we show up for our community and how we show up for others. But we are asking y'all to continue to donate to the Muslim Women's Organization. Here we are. All right, so this is beautiful right here. This is where we're at. So many of you have helped us get to this $5,000 goal, but I know that a lot of times many people want to know exactly where they're donating to, so specifically. So in the link that is provided in the chat, you're going to be able to see the different ways that your money can go to. So even $100, sometimes we overlook some of the contributions and what they go to. Being able to convert sisters, you heard the beautiful recitation from Rehab earlier, who helps with the Convert Care Committee program. We want to be able to welcome them in very welcoming ways that they feel warm, they feel included. So if you go down this, I'm not going to go into this because I'm sure y'all are sick of hearing my voice at this point, but like I already mentioned, the anti-racism workshop, the women's health that matters mentally and physically, the resources for survivors of domestic violence, like the list goes on. So we promise you, from $100 to $2,500, you all are making the Muslim Women Organization more sustainable in serving you and your families, and most importantly, young women in our communities. So I just want to say, I'm going to close out now, but you all, we understand that these are unconventional times. These are painful times. But what we do know as Muslim women is that there is always power in pain, that there's always trust in sisterhood, and there's always ways that we can rely on one another. And the Muslim Women's Organization continues to recommit to being there for all of you all, whether it is through our training, whether it is through spiritual guidance, or whether it is helping your dreams come true and protecting, securing, and amplifying your journey. We are asking for you to donate like it hurts today, because there are so many people in our community that are hurting. And the only way that we can help alleviate just a little bit of their pain is to be able to serve them in the most compassionate way. And that is through our programs at the Muslim Women's Organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Rasha, for showing us and showing everyone in the room here the impact. And we talked a lot about the stories and the journey but really what your contributions and your continuous contributions have done to us. I mean, I'm right here in this space. We're talking about our programs, the impact. And so we hope that you will continue to support us and spread the word. If you know anyone, we're sharing the links in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We'd love to be able to get those answered. So thank you again, Rasha. Well, everyone, this has been quite an evening. And on behalf of our leadership team, I would like to thank each and every one of you again for joining us on this journey together. You all have helped us make extraordinary strides in our community, and for that, we are truly grateful. It's been a pleasure hosting you this evening. It is, as each person on our panel has said, wherever we go, whatever we're doing, the fact that we are there on behalf of the MWO never ceases to humble me and also provides an extraordinary sense of responsibility. We know that we can continue to count on all of you for your generous support and your presence. Please keep an eye and follow us on social media to continue following our journey. And like I said earlier, we hope to see you at the hub upon our reopening, where we can join together and meet in person again. Thank you all. Jazakumullah khair, and have a wonderful evening. Assalamu alaikum.